Ah, man, this is the best lightweight backpacker meal that you're not making. Cuban black bean soup. Stay tuned. I'm gonna cook it by this lake. Hey, yo, Chef Corso, Monty Boca, and we are here on the lake here in the middle of Arkansas. If you can guess where I am, you might get a cookie or something. But I'm all set up here, slapping the rock, because I have a modified cairn cooktop situation here. These pieces of slate are really, really awesome. Just make sure that you even them out. I am using just a classic MSR pocket rocket because this recipe can be made in any camp pot. This recipe can be made for 1 portion, 2 portions, 27 portions if you really, really wanted to make a nice big batch for your crew. But I am just gonna make it in our about 500 mil camp pot here today. But I love finding rocks and stumps to cook on in pretty places. So let's talk about ingredients for this Cuban black bean soup, because as you can see up here, there is a storm rolling in and I want some soup before I get all wet. So let's talk about ingredients. All right, so I got everything right here in this handy packing cube. I love using this for one recipe or one day on the trail. That way, when it's time to cook, you have all your ingredients right here. So I have a few extra ingredients here just for the sake of our overall demo by the lake here. But we are gonna use black beans. And so these are dehydrated, freeze-dried black beans. And these are really great backpacker ingredient or camping ingredient to take along and cook up in about 5 or 10 minutes. But you can also use these pouch beans out there that are pretty handy to just slip right in your pack. But I will say about beans, dried beans are a really great ingredient, but not for backpacking, not for camping. Why? They're dried. They need to soak for at least a couple hours, and then it's going to be at least an hour for them to be ready. So don't take dried beans along with you because you're not going to be eating really at all. So make sure that you've got them already pre-cooked, or you've got them freeze-dried or dehydrated. So other things that you're probably seeing here in my packing cube are a bunch of spices. So I have a few that we're gonna add. You could easily put them all in one container just to save on containers. But again, just to show you what we've got here. So we've got some salt, we've got some garlic powder, nothing fancy. But one of our key ingredients here is our cumin powder. And we've also got a little bit of oregano. Also have a little bit of oil. So I've got a few fresh ingredients that are really gonna make this pop. So one is red pepper, and you can easily cut this and prep this before, but sometimes I just like throwing it in my pack and doing it out here in the bushes. Also have a nice lime that we're gonna give a nice squeeze right at the end. If you don't want to pack a lime in your pack, even though it's really easy to do it, you could easily use apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, a little bit of vinegar, but we're gonna need that little bit of acid and a little bit of freshness to really bring this bowl together. And then lastly, we've got, man, if you like tortilla chips on anything, which most of you out there do, I think, plantain chips. They're much more available now. Crunchy, filling, and it's a nice change up from the tortilla chips sometimes. These are actually seasoned, which can be kind of fun. But those are our ingredients for our Cuban black bean soup. Super, super easy packing, really low pack weight, and you can make this just about anywhere. But let's get cooking. While this is finishing off simmering, There's one more bean ingredient you could use. There's also a really great backpacker ingredient out there that is instant refried beans or flaked pinto or black beans. Those work really, really well as well. That'll cut your cook time down a couple minutes. But with these whole beans that I'm using here today, you know, depending on your elevation, it's probably gonna take about 5 to 10 minutes on a nice low simmer. And another thing you can do too, if you do wanna cut down a few minutes on your overall cook time, even though it's still pretty darn quick, is cold soak those beans too to get them started hydrating, hit them with some heat. I wouldn't recommend doing a full cold soak with this recipe because it's probably not going to get fully hydrated. I don't know about you, but hot food tastes better. If you want to suffer through a whole bean porridge, go nuts here. But for me, I like having a little bit of heat. So let's go ahead and check this out. It's been simmering for, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes here by the lake. Really important to test your food, taste your food. It's your chance to adjust for salt, adjust for seasoning. Really nice flavor. Good cumin, good oregano. The garlic is hydrated in there. Our beans have hydrated. We got a little bit of color. And let's test our beans to see if they're hydrated. Question is, okay, well, how do you know if they're hydrated? If there's a little bit of crunch, it means they're still a little bit dry and you need a teeny bit more time. But this can also, bring to a boil and let that sit. And if you're new to cooking outdoors, if you're an old seasoned veteran, soups are an amazing, amazing meal to pack along. Why? Because they're extremely forgiving, meaning that they're wet, so they don't have a tendency to burn and to scorch as much as some other things. But the other thing, as we're getting into the cooler months, soups are so satisfying to have a nice warm bowl at the end of the day. All right, I think our soup is done. Let's give it a check. Ooh, nice, hearty. Those beans have hydrated. We've got that beautiful color from that red pepper. And the last two things I'm gonna add to this is some crunch from our plantain chips. Crunch them up in there, just put it right on in there. And our nice fresh squeeze of lime. Oh, come on. Oh, that freshness too, that little bit of acid is gonna really complement our Cuban flavors here. The soup is hot. Soup is hot, that's a good thing. Really great flavor from only just a couple of those dry ingredients, and then throw in a little bit of that. Crunch from the plantain chips. Ah, man, super, super good. Give this a try. Let me know how you like it. Could obviously modify it to your own flavor preference. Maybe you want some hot sauce. Maybe you want some different vinegar in there. Maybe you want a little bit of jerky or more protein in there, even though beans are gonna give you plenty. But get out there, cook somewhere awesome. Boca boca.